24 U.S. states have adopted right-to-work laws that allow employees to opt out of paying union dues. Critics call it union busting, and at least one judge has ruled that some parts are unconstitutional. Christina Howard is back with her final installment in this series. Christina.
Tara, it was just last month that an Indiana judge ruled that part of the state's right-to-work law is unconstitutional. He said that unions are being forced to work for free. It's what many critics of the right-to-work phenomena say, too, that the law doesn't create jobs but weakens unions.
When Dale Pearson took on the state of Indiana last month, he was speaking for hundreds of thousands of unionized workers.
Indiana has now passed this law, which basically says that the union cannot require people as a condition of employment to pay their fair share of the fees that go towards servicing them.
Representing the International Union of Operating Engineers, Local 150, Pearson took the state to court and won.
The union is required to represent people. We have to represent everybody fairly. It costs money to do that. And when you've got a law that says you don't have to pay, individual employees don't have to pay, it basically saps the union's resources.
He argued that the law violates the Indiana Constitution, namely Article 1, Section 21. No person's particular services shall be demanded without just compensation. The judge agreed.
He said basically federal law requires the union to fairly represent all of the people in any given bargaining unit, and the union would otherwise be entitled to charge for those services.
The Attorney General is appealing the ruling, but if the lower court's ruling holds, then it could bury one of the cornerstones of right-to-work legislation.
Employers promote right-to-work laws in part because they know that they will weaken unions by taking away union resources. If the unions are weaker, then they can't negotiate contracts that are as strong.
But they also can't spend money on things like this, a $50 million training center for IUOE members in Indiana, Illinois, and Wisconsin.
I'd like to think of this as the largest sandbox in America.
A 342,000 square foot sandbox with more than 200 pieces of heavy equipment, all paid for by union dues. It's helped people like Carl Dye stay employed.
I was a truck driver before, I worked in the factory, but since I've become 150, my life is much better, tenfold.
Today, he's training on a new crane. It's the type of learning that keeps him working.
Makes it better for the employer because as an employee, I'm more trained, my skill level is better, and I know my job.
Since the center opened 6 years ago, it's helped thousands of its members maintain gainful employment, but it's also helped thousands of employers find the skilled labor they need when they need it. It's something the coordinators here say wouldn't have happened if Illinois had been right to work.
It would not allow for a lot of what you see here today to continue. It would have in past not allowed this to even be built probably.
Pearson thinks Indiana's right-to-work law will stop groundbreaking on similar projects, but hopes if he wins the next stage in the battle, he could stop the right-to-work movement dead in its tracks.
We could be sowing the seeds to a fundamental legal challenge to right-to-work laws all over the country.
Now, the Indiana Supreme Court isn't expected to hear the appeal until early next year, but when it came to right to work, we certainly heard a lot from you, our viewers. From Twitter, Kyle writes, if Michigan and other states do it, Ontario should do it as well to stay competitive. If not, we may lose jobs. On the CTV London Facebook page, Steve Baker wrote, if you want the freedom not to pay union dues, fine. You should also therefore give up any right to expect any assistance from the union, and you shouldn't expect to get union negotiated wages. And on london.ctvnews.ca, George says it's a politically motivated attack on Conservatives' primary opponent, organized labor. Now, over 6,500 viewers weighed in on our online poll. We asked, do you think you should have the right to opt out of paying union dues? A whopping 90% of you said no. Tara?
Thank you very much for all of your work on this great series, Christina.